Day 7 of rereading my Bible, and I didn't really want to talk about this story, but I kind of felt called to. Genesis 34 seems like this really random and gory story that's just thrown in there in the middle of the stories about Jacob, but it is anything but random. Dinah is the youngest daughter of Leah and Jacob, and while she is out in the field, Shechem, who's the son of the local chieftain of the Hittite area they're in, sees her and he decides to take her by force, but then he decides he really likes her and wants to marry her. He and his dad go talk to Jacob and Jacob's sons, and they say deceitfully, because they have no intention of this, sure, we'll let you marry Dinah. In fact, all our daughters and sons can intermarry and we can become one nation. But first, all of the men of your tribe have to be circumcised. That's just part of our religion. Shechem agrees. He and all of his men are circumcised on the third day of healing while they're all still weak. Levi and Simeon, very specific people who are sons of Jacob, go and they murder all the men in Shechem's tribe. Jacob is like, what have you guys done? And they simply say, is our sister to be treated like a prostitute? And while this story brings up a lot of moral implications and questions, like what is God trying to say about these morals, my experience is that through these stories, God has an overarching message about his people and his plan for salvation. I also think that names are very important, and I had a feeling that these names were very important and prophetic when it came to this story. So Dinah comes from the Hebrew word din, which means to judge or to plea, and her name has the dual meaning of either judgment or vindication, depending on the context. Simeon means to hear or to listen, and it means that God is attentive to the cries of his people. Levi has the meaning of to join or to adhere, and Shechem means shoulder, but it has the connotation of deep interest and strength. So the meanings of these names add layer upon layer of meaning to this story, but ultimately here's the takeaway that I had. And again, if there's anything that I'm saying that is not from God, then just throw that away. So God is attentive to the pleas of his people, but he will refuse to be joined with or make a covenant with those who seek their own vindication or salvation by force, or try to atone for their own sins through negotiation and acts of the flesh. And ultimately, those who do this will not be vindicated, but will be judged. In fact, other times that violation comes up in the Bible, there is an overarching theme of this, and it often symbolizes those who refuse to accept God's free gift of salvation, but try to force their own way into his kingdom.